Hi everyone, I'm Jenna. This is Patriot Creations. We're in Creative Crafters Ensemble event. So we're just hold off just for a second to for Gia to get us put in. So I hope everybody's having a good start to your weekend. There I go. Hi Sharon. How are you? I'm glad you're here. So you're up after me. So as soon as Gia gets us put in, we will get started. Put this up here. Maybe that'll work better. Maybe not. I need to find a better phone stand for my phone when I'm using it here. So, hi everybody. Hi Brenda. Welcome in. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. I totally forgot about this event until this morning. So I started scrambling to get something together. My brain has been scattered this week. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Donna. Well, you pay attention to the road, Donna. You need to drive better than watch me. You can watch us on replay. So I'm glad you all hopped on. So as soon as I see, excuse me, Gia is done, we will get started. So nothing like forgetting. And I have a calendar. I write everything down. And my phone goes crazy because I'm in a bunch of different event groups. And so I don't pay attention to all the dings. Thank you, Gia. Welcome, everybody. This is Creative Crafters Ensemble. I am Jenna with Patriot Creations, and this is a patriotic event. And I was just telling everybody that I totally forgot about this until this morning. So I had to scramble to get everything together. So I want to welcome everybody in. And what I'm doing is a crow with a primitive star and a flag and Spanish moss, Sweet Annie, Americana top hat, and it's all going on to one of these antique spools. That's my thought anyway. So we're going to get this together and we're going to figure it out. So I have a lot of painting to do, so we're going to get started doing that. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome in. Thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate that. So I cut this primitive star, and I used pinking shears because we're not sewing. And we're going to glue this together, and then we're going to paint this red, white, and blue. But this is a heavy drop cloth. When I went to buy drop cloth, I picked, hi Grace, I picked up like a 10 ounce, which is a real heavy. What I normally get is a 6 ounce, which is real lightweight, and it's really nice for sewing and stuff. But I picked up a 10 ounce, so I've been using it for different things, because this is like really heavy duty fabric. It's almost like a canvas. But I cut out a primitive star, and we're going to glue it together. And then we're going to Mod Podge this with Coffee Podge, because we're not stuffing this. The only thing we're stuffing is the top of Uncle Sam's hat. And I took some tobacco cloth this morning and made 3 long strips, and I dyed those, one red, one blue, and one white. And how I dyed those was I mixed a tiny bit of paint with water and then put my strips in it and then laid them to dry. So I am not gluing the very inside of this because we're going to put it on a skewer. But I do want to make sure that my glue gets into all that weave on that fabric. My drop cloth came from Harbor Freight. Amazon, I just saw, had some that was even cheaper than Harbor Freight. So, did I get all the sides glued? I'm talking and I'm not paying attention. What else is new? So we're going to paint the back of this all red. And what I'm using is Crimson Waverly. So I'm doing the whole back red. And then we're painting 3 stripes on the front. Yeah, the smaller the number, the ounce weight, the lighter weight your drop cloth is. And I was in a hurry. I ran in, grabbed this. It's been a while ago because I've had this for quite a while. And when I got home, I realized it was 10 ounce. And I thought, well, I'm not taking it back. I'll use it for something. So I've been using it for stuff like this. But I like to use it too to make dolls out of. So I just flipped it over. We'll dry it later. And I'm just going to make a stripe. Get that out of your way so you can see. Hi, Julie. Welcome. I'm just going to start on the tip of one of the points and just go up a straight line. So I'm not using white. I'm using sandstone because we're going to coffee grunge this whole thing too. So see, I just made a stripe right up the one side. So I have sandstone. Hi, Stephanie. Oh, you are so welcome. I'm glad you got it. Thank you for letting me know. So I'm just using this. I don't like a white. I like more of an off-white. And I'm not drying this in between. So if they overlap or the paint runs a little bit, I'm good with that. So the paint is running a little bit, but that's fine. It's okay that we have a little bit of red mixed in our white, because it's all going to get grunged anyway. So I had to tear apart my sprayer for my instant coffee because it got clogged, and I got to put the lids on this before I knock this all over. That won't be a pretty sight. Hi, Kay. How are you? So we need the blue. The blue, this is just Michael's. It's called Bright Blue. I'm not sure why I bought a bright blue, but because everything has to get grunged. So it's okay. I'm just putting a drop in there. And I'm going to do the other side blue. Now when you paint drop cloth, it does tend to curl. But if it curls too much, just put a piece of parchment over it and iron it. Hey, Gia. Oh, thank you, Kay, for sprinkling the fabric. That's what everybody says, and mostly I sew. So I've been all week trying to get ready for a yard sale tomorrow. So there we go. We're going to set this aside and let this dry. And then we'll dry it later. So I just took tobacco cloth and I just did 3 strips. So that is almost dry. I have another star. I did 3 of these. And I'm painting it with Coffee Page. Wrong one. So this is just white glue, water, and instant coffee. That's all that's in here. And I'm just going to paint it up over top. And yes, there's wet paint, the red, white, and blue on my tray here. And if it gets on my, it's fine. Because I want this to look as old as I possibly can make this look. But I don't want that much paint on here. Okay. So we're just going to spread this out. And the fabric that I'm using on these stars, it was scraps that I got from doing memory bears. So these were men's shirts. So let's set that aside and grab our coffee. And we're just going to put just a tad on here because I want these to look really, really old. So I'm just dabbing the coffee with the coffee podge just so those granules will melt. No, I'd never get rid of Tony. You're right, he is a keeper. Thank you, Sharon, for sprinkling. Sharon, Crafting Barefoot with Sharon is up after me. So all you have to do, if you're not a member of the page, please join it because Gia does a really super nice job. Just refresh the page and you can watch her. So I just want all of, whoops, I almost stuck my brush in there. I want all of this to melt. Then we're going to set it aside. So you can put your spices on here. Those ones have already been coffee podge, but I want to put the coffee on them. I was looking for my gator tool, and it must have gotten lost in the move. So I'm going to have to get another one because I cannot find it. I am going to end up putting my paintbrush right in that coffee. So let's do the other one. I have 3 of these. We'll dry everything at the end. Oh man. That's what happens when your brain does not function. Now this instant coffee I get at Aldi's. It's under $5 for a 8-ounce jar. So for crafting, I'm okay with that. So let's get this melted. Okay. So let's set this aside. And see how that's melting already? I want it to look old. Yuck. I'm going to get this out of my way. Okay, I have a little Americana hat that I didn't even know I made these, so I must have had these for a while. Hey, Jody. So this is just 2 ovals that I sew completely around and put a hole in the center so that I can stuff it. I'm not stuffing this. I have a piece of the drop cloth that I'm going to put inside. And that's going to stiffen it up because this also is getting coffee podged. So I'm just going to stick it inside. Just to give the brim of his hat some body. And I'm just using long nose tweezers to get it all shoved in there. We have a house across the street from us that has been doing all kinds of remodeling. And it always sounds like all kind of banging going on out there. Oh, good. I'm glad you're home. I didn't want you to watch while you're driving. So this is just a chopstick that I use for stuffing, and I'm just going to spread this drop cloth in there out, just so it'll lay flat. The best tool for stuffing is either forceps or a chopstick. So that just gives it body. So I'm going to just put some coffee podge on this. We're using lots of coffee podge today. So I hurried up and made a new batch, or just added to my old batch. Let that dry. Let's stuff his top hat. I have the crow already made, so all we got to do is paint him, and then we'll draw everything up. So this is just a rectangle that I folded in half. I sewed down two sides and left the bottom open. At some point I did that. So we're going to get this all stuffed and probably use a button, glue a button on the inside to hold it its shape so we can glue it on the brim. Let's see if I got a big enough button here. No, I don't. Oh well, we can glue it. Because my buttons are on the other side of the room. So we're just going to fold it like a present on the bottom. Just like that. So let's dry our hat so we can get that glued together. And I'm just gluing the side that I'm putting the top hat on, or just drying it. And we will put coffee on that later. So let's glue this down. And then we will, I'm looking for my glue sticks. I don't know where I put them. I moved everything on my table around, so now I don't know where anything is. I should know better than to move stuff. Once I put it somewhere, it needs to always be there. I'm just holding this down to glue. And this is just a makeup tool. I don't really know what it's used for in makeup, but I got it at Dollar General, but it has silicone ends. It's really nice for gluing. So let's glue it on the hat. And I'm gluing it right over that opening that I cut to turn this. I want to thank all of you for joining in. Just going to hold this down just for a second and let that catch. So we have a little top hat. Coffee podge isn't totally dry, so it doesn't want to stick. So I am making my husband a Americana throw for Christmas. Everybody in my family is getting something handmade. So I have a scrap of the fabric, and I'm going to wrap it around the hat and tie it. So I don't throw any scraps of fabric, no matter how tiny, away, because you can use even the tiniest of scraps. And my fingers aren't working to knot this. Okay, there we go. So I just knotted it, and I'm just going to trim it. And see, that tiny little piece is going right back in my little container over here, because we'll use it. Okay, let's coffee podge the hat. I just want everything to be grungy. I looked and looked and looked for my gator tool. I have no idea. So it must, because we're making a flag too. So it must have gotten lost in the move. Or I haven't unpacked it yet, because I have stuff in the garage that I have not unpacked yet. So, but I think I've seen it since I've been here, or my brain tells me I have. Hi, Ronnie. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So this is an Americana event, and we just made a tiny little top hat. I'm going to sit that aside and paint this crow. I'm looking for my black paint. Where did I put it? Well, I'm sorry. I got to get it. Where is my black paint? I just had it. I am sorry. I am really scattered here today, girls. I know I'm looking at it. Well, I got the bead color. Girls, I cannot find it. I had it. I don't have that much sitting here on my table for it to get lost. Hey, Tony. Check in the kitchen. See if I left black paint out there, please. Black paint. Well, we have this one. I have no idea, girls. Okay. I found another one. Thank you. I don't know. I had it this morning. As soon as we get off this live, I'll find it. Y'all know how that goes. I sat it on my left. Thanks, Grace. See? I did have it. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about myself. So up after me is Barefoot Crafting with Sharon. So please stay tuned and watch her. If you're not following Gia, please follow her. And if you see any other creators on here that you're not following, please go follow them. This is a nice group of ladies. I don't think we have any guys in the group yet, do we? I hopped on someone's live the other night and I said, "Hi, ladies." And some guy says, "Wait a minute, we're not all ladies." So I have to watch that. I think I insulted him a little bit. I don't know who he was, but it didn't take long to paint him up. So let's dry him so we can paint his nose or his beak. And then we'll assemble all this. I bought 2 new boxes of gloves, have no idea where they are. So getting organized is something that I definitely have to get done, because this move has totally messed me up. I'm going to get one of these brushes cleaned. And I hate being disorganized. It actually puts me in a bad mood. Let's paint his beak. And since we moved into this house, I think every bug in Georgia lives at this residence. Georgia's got the weirdest bugs. Some of them look prehistoric. And since we moved here 4 years ago, I developed a critter squeal. I scream when I see those things. They're the creepiest looking things. And some of them fly, which I don't want any critter in my house. But every time I see one, I take 9 lives of Tony's away. So I'm just doing a knot to make his eyes. And I'm just using embroidery floss, which I'm going to pull through to hide that tail. And just go back and forth. And then I'm going to pull it really tight. And it's just going to make an indent of an eye. Can you see that? Then I'm going to go back to pull this side in. That just makes an indent. It gives an illusion of an eye without actually using eyes. And then I'm going to wrap my thread around a few times just to make a knot to hold it. Can you see how that indented? I don't know if you can or not. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. So I'm going back in with my needle and coming out somewhere on the body just to hide the tail, because I don't want any thread tail showing. So just pull it and clip it and it's gone. It's totally hidden inside. So let me get all this paint out of my way. I think we're done painting. Thank goodness. So let's dry this little guy a little bit. Oh, we got plenty of time. I'm hurrying, thinking I'm running out of time. Well, I've developed critter scream. We had a lizard in the foyer one morning, or one afternoon on the rug. Boy, was he awful to catch. I finally ended up sucking him up in the vacuum cleaner and taking him outside. So we're going to grab some skewers. We need 4 or 5. And I'm just using Coffee Podge and going right over them, just to give them some color. And we're going to cut these down. So I'm used to skewers being thin. These things are thick, almost like a small dowel rod. I don't know why. So let's take our little hat. And I have some rusty stars. And let's glue one on the front of that. Right on the front. And we're going to put a skewer from the bottom up. So let's dry some of this stuff. So once the heat hits this coffee, it should melt a little more. If not, you can smear it with your finger. Yeah, Donna, I'm glad. Oh, thanks for the hearts. I'm glad you're feeling better too, Donna. Hi, Teresa. This is an Americana event with Creative Crafters Ensemble. We're not doing anything to our old school, except putting something around the center of it, like a bow. Other than that, we're leaving it the color it is, with all the scratches and everything on it. Hi, Joanne, welcome. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Thank you for hopping on and watching me. We have to do our flag yet, but that's just gluing and Mod Podging. So everything is Americana today. Okay, let's get our skewers put in. When I did these, I left an opening for turning, but we're not turning them or stuffing them because they have the Coffee Podge, and that's going to make them stiff. I'm just sticking a skewer up inside of it, and we're going to glue it. So that's the only thing. So when these dry, they will stay out. They're a little tacky yet. So let's put a skewer inside of each one of them. Find the opening. There it is. And I'm sticking this skewer all the way up to the top. So when this is all finished, if it's not coffee stained enough, we can spray coffee on it. We can spray some more. There we go. Now, we need to make a, did I leave a hole? Yes, I did. And stick this up inside of our crow. Now, I stuffed this with upholstery fiberfill. So it is really, there we go. It's going in now. Try that end. There we go. It's going better. So when you use upholstery fiberfill, it makes whatever you stuff really hard. Hi, Donna. Welcome. Hi, Leanne. You're right, Donna. There's a joke on my page that I've been sewing for 600 years. Well, then Jody from Primitive Crafts by Jody, she said, no, it's 601 because that was last year. So we just put a skewer inside of all of these. So my regular followers remind me that I've been doing this for 601 years. So I don't get black on everything. Okay, so let's set this all aside, and we have our big star that we need to put a skewer in. And I left right in the middle open. And this is almost dry on its own. But I still think it needs a little more primitive look. So we're going to do that. We're going to set these over here and let them dry a little more. So I said we're using lots of coffee podge. Now let me get some coffee. Just put a little more to help it melt. And let's work on our flag. So this is one of the squares that I made for my husband's throw. This is one of the solid fabrics that I used. And this square I cut down because they were 10 by 10. And we're going to glue this together. And then we're going to fray the outside of that other fabric. Oh, thanks, Ronnie. So, I'm just going to rip part of this off because it's too long. Nope, it won't rip. So we'll just cut it. So we're going to finish up his throw on one of my videos, but it's all Americana. And I'm putting a big eagle on the front of it. Okay. Making sure this is all glued down. just looking for a pin. So I'm just going to pull some of these threads just to fray this to make it look a little more worn. And they're all stuck to my fingers. So let's grunge this up too. And this coffee podge, those of you that have used it, it'll just stiffen everything up, because the base of this one is just Elmer's glue and water. But you can actually use Mod Podge. So you can use any white school glue. So now I'm just patting all of those granules to get them to start to melt. There's a string. So Gia, thank you for having me. I love being in events. Now that I'm not working, I'm trying to get into more of them. So just rub those, and it helps. Oh no. Thank you for the hearts. Messed up today. So you can make something that you're coffee staining, or using Mod Podge on. If you use a heat tool and hold the heat tool just real fast, really close, it gives like a scorch mark, and you can make something look even more primitive by doing that. But you have to do it really fast. Move your heat gun around, because, well, it will catch on fire. But so I'm just doing another skewer. And we're going to glue this. Let me dry that back because it won't stick. Yeah, Joanne, everybody is. It's my internet. It's aggravating. We got a booster for on it, and I don't know what all else Tony's put on it, but it still freezes. It's a stupid internet company. So I'm just going to glue this. Stick the skewer in it, and then just wrap the edge right around it, just to help hold it there. So we had problems with at our other house with the internet when a storm was coming or was starting to rain. But here, it doesn't matter. We have a problem with it. So there's our flag. And see, it's not moving. It's stiff because of that coffee podge. So do I have everything done? I think so. So we're going to take this. I'm so sorry, y'all. You're freezing again. And we're going to take our flag and put it down in. I'm just going to cut these as I go along so that they're all different heights. This one needs dried. Thank you for the hearts. And my phone just totally punked out. There we go. Oh, it is? Oh, thank you, Grace. Yeah, Donna, sometimes the best thing to do is go out and come back. Sometimes that's all you can do. So let's put this in. And I want to cut this way down. And I'm going to glue all of this. I'm just previewing it right at the moment. Yep, Donna, that's what I have too. Spectrum. Yep. And let's get our crow in here. How short do I need to make him? Really short. Some of these are like dowel rods, not skewers. Put him that way. Yeah, Donna, I don't like it either. So, these aren't totally dry. Thank you, Grace. Oh, thank you. That is part of a quilt square that I made for my husband's throw that I'm making him. So let's see. Let's cut this one down way. Just make a little poke out of it. Put that one right in the front. Maybe. We might not need all three of these. So this is what we have so far. So I'm going to take the flag and put it more in the back. And we're going to glue it. So I have this little hat to put on here too somewhere. So let's take that star out. And let's put the hat in there. So I'm just making a little hole right in the bottom of the brim. And we're going to glue it in. And we'll stick that right in the front. Right in front of the big star. Oh, let's cut that down some more. And I have the wood cutters, I just didn't get them out. So that's what we have so far. Hi Barb, welcome. So this is an Americana event. Moving the flag that way and the crow that way, and I'm going to glue everything together. So we might not even use these stars. So I'm going to take the flag and we'll cut it down a little more. There. Now let's glue all of this like that. So I'm going to glue the crow there. Glue the big flag there. An Uncle Sam hat. I'll glue it right there. The brim. So I'm taking the tobacco cloth that I paint dyed. And these are like 40 some inches long. And I'm going to wrap it around the center of the spool. Don't you fall over. This brown paper I have on my table is warped from all the coffee posh. So let's make a square knot. And we'll cut these at different lengths. And I have little jute bows. We need to tie something around the crow's neck. Let's get all three of these. Let's tie around his neck. Yeah, he needs something. And I'm going to do the same. Cut these at different lengths. Now let's put a rusty star on his bow. Ow. And I have red, white, and blue buttons. So I'm going to put one on the top hat. Let me see what that look like. Yeah, I'm going to put one of these jute bows and a button on the top hat. Because it already has a rusty star. And I'm going to take one of these jute bows and put right in the middle of the big star with a button. Choose a blue one. Let me see what stacking these buttons would look like. No. Gotta put a red one. Right in the middle on the knot on the tobacco cloth. My fingers are sticking together. So I took a piece of this fabric and I coffee podged it ahead of time because I knew I was going to run out of time. And I'm going to cut this into a tag shape. And I just have a hole punch. And a piece of jute that I'm going to put through it. And on the tag, I'm going to write 1776. And I'm just using a Sharpie. And we're going to hang this somewhere. Somewhere. Maybe off the center bow. It's not really a bow. So it's just some scrap fabric that I used on my husband's throw. And I'm going to knot this and we'll put it there somewhere. And I'm going to put a star on this one also. Right above the numbers. And the tails on this, I'm going to untwist and fray. And up after me is Barefoot Crafting with Sharon. So please stay tuned. Refresh your page. If you're on the crafting, there we go. Creative Crafters Ensemble page. You just pull the page down and refresh it. And there we go. Thank you all for coming and joining me. I will see you over on Sharon's page. Thank you, Gia, for having me. I greatly appreciate it. Even though I had to pull this together at the last minute because my brain did not remember. But I think it turned out cute. So thank you all. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you over on Sharon's page. Bye-bye.